Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show when people at 9. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show on WBISLP. Awesome Radio 106.9. It is the hottest station in the Carolinas where we are prime time and the clock says it's 8:01. I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions and comments to sinclairtalk@outlook.com. We're going to continue to address as many as possible each night that we are on the air to reach you, the valued listener. The Sinclair Show is interactive, so you can call in, write in, do what you do to do what you do, and get it done when it's dead. All right? Now, let me say this. Some of you all right now, if you're in the Greenville area and surrounding areas, right now you're thinking to yourself, hey, it's a little bit rain outside, but I'm almost home, Sinclair. What do I do? Because I don't want to miss out on this show. Well, you're in luck because you don't have to. All right? If you got an Android phone, all you got to do is go to your Google Apps, download the Awesome Radio station logo, click on it, give it a chance to upload. A few minutes later, poof, you are listening to those sounds and all the great information that comes on Awesome Radio all through the day. Then, maybe some of y'all got the iPhones. I'm not going to leave y'all out. iPhones, iPads, whatever them things are that you're rolling with. All you got to do for that is you've got either Safari or Google Chrome. Don't worry about it. Go to that. Type in www.wbisawesome.org. Now, when you do that, all you got to do is there's a little thing in there that says streaming. Click on the streaming tab. Give it a few seconds. Next thing you know, you're going to hear, what I say coming through your little headphones, if you will. Now, some of you all, you're on your way home. You're saying, Sinclair, I can't go in the house and be on my phone. I get in trouble every time I'm on my phone. Don't worry about it. I got something for you too. You don't want to use your phone because you might get in trouble? Go get your laptop or your desktop. Now, if it's the desktop, don't try to drag it downstairs. Go where it is, all right? If it's your laptop, put it in your lap. Don't worry about it. Get your headphones, plug it into the side of it. If you got some desktop speakers, turn them up loud so everybody in the house can hear it, all right? Get on there, go to Google Chrome or wherever your internet provider is and go to www.wbisawesome.org. When you get there, everything is going to be in like Flynn. Click on the streaming and listen to what we talk about, all right? But to some of y'all, some of my most valued compadres, that's not enough for you all either. Some of you have a desire to get the visual you want to get the visual experience.
Okay.
All right, let me tell you how you do that. Go to Facebook. People, stop playing. Some of y'all sit around and act like you don't have Facebook. The same place where folks be in your DM chit-chatting with you about stuff they shouldn't. That same DM. Yes, it can be used for good too. All you got to do is go to Facebook and type in The Sinclair Show. Now, if you can see my background, you see the little heart back there. That's how you're going to know you got the right one. But there's some shady people out there that when you start doing a few good things, they try to emulate you or copy you or whatever. They say that it's the greatest form of flattery. They lied. It ain't the greatest form of flattery. Somebody taking what you work hard to do. But click it on it. When you see the little heart like that, it means that I love you all sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to be bothered with y'all because y'all be feeding me foolishness that I got to dissect for y'all. That's what y'all come here for. Y'all come here for me to help you work out your problems. Then I got to go filled with my mind full of your problems. But that's what I do to help y'all have a better life. All right? Now, let me see. Did I miss anything? Camille, you want to say anything to the people?
Good evening, everyone. It is a blessed day to be here. I want to say to my dad, happy belated birthday, and my sister-in-law, Vanessa, happy belated birthday. Tonight, we did have open house throughout Pitt County and the surrounding areas. Please be involved in your child's education. Go show your face so that they all know that they have support because, again, this is their future, however you are invested. So please do your part by showing up and doing what you need to do as it relates to helping the kids throughout the school year. Tonight I have a whole lot of things in this mailbag, so I'm not going to hold you much longer. So back to you, Sinclair.
All right, so y'all know what I like to do for all my people that roll in on the Facebook Express, if you will. Oh, let me tell y'all a couple things. Y'all about to start being able to see the stuff out there on YouTube as well. All right. Wow. So whatever is popping off up here, I'm going to take these videos because people have been asking me, Sinclair, when am I going to be able to just go to YouTube and see it? Because I don't really mess with Facebook or anything like that. Don't worry about it. I'm going to start uploading them. Y'all going to be able to catch them. I'll put the links on the page. Y'all can tell a friend that it's on and popping. They can pick us up the next day if they didn't get it. You know how y'all used to be about the stories. Y'all could TiVo them, but some of y'all quit work just so y'all can watch the stories. I don't want people that had to quit work that had to come in and check out the show. Now, but y'all know what I do. I like to give my people their props. So the first one up here tonight was Essie Shepherd. That's Essie, the armor bearer to keep the wolves off my back. See, some of y'all ain't got nobody to keep the wolves off your back. Okay, wolves are something fierce. Then I see Valerie Strayhorn Harris. Oh, she's out there talking about good evening, Camille and Sinclair. Can I get my name shouted out too? All right. Look at my mom. Mama know me and her done had to have a little tad bit of a tisk today. Let me tell y'all something what my mama did now. My mama was a little under the weather last night, right? But she didn't want to call me and let me know. So you know what? I'm giving her a pass today because she was under the weather. But I did stop by and see her. See Ty's up there. My sister's up there. Glad she done came through and keeping her peeps on her, making sure everything good. What's going on, Corey? Beverly Key, what's going on, cuz? I see you out there doing it big. Hey, I've been keeping my eye on you, Beverly. Hey, it's all good. I'm going to have to catch up with you. Beverly is always doing big things. Y'all better check out people who are doing things in your community to help our people get better. Yvonne Rouse. Well, it's easy to catch up with her when it ain't no Bible study, nothing going on. This person, people, y'all been rolling with us long enough to know it is certain people I don't call their names because they be at work during this time. But we like to give AG a shout out. She know what it is. Look here, I ain't trying to get you fired, but I'm glad you're taking us into the workplace with you. Let me see. Renee Perry been MIA for a few, but I'm going to still give you a shout out because it's all good. There go that arch nemesis, April Gray. I see she done peeped up here too. So it's just a host of y'all coming in. Somebody find me some of the brothers out here. I need some men to come in and swoop down because things get a little tough down here when I ain't got nothing but ladies on here. Somebody find me Cornelia Shepherd.
Please.
Willis. And let me see, where the world renowned at? You ever seen somebody ain't got nothing to do in the evening and he ain't up here? But that's all right. I got my eyes open. Look, people, we got a lot of stuff to do. So let's go ahead and jump into the mailbag and make some things start happening.
Okay.
Tuesday.
The continuation of that. All right. Good evening, Sinclair and Camille.
Well,
I'm recently engaged to the man God has made just for me.
Just for you.
He's a little bit older than me. He's not perfect, but he's a good man. He's a wonderful provider, does not party or hang out in the streets. He's a spiritual man who loves God, and since I've known him, he has made things better for me and my two children from a previous relationship.
Sounds like a wonderful guy.
He has been a stable rock when I was going through things, and I prayed to God to send me the right man, and I believe he did.
Okay.
I want to be a good wife who reciprocates all the good things that he does.
Reciprocates.
We are 4 months from getting married, and I'm so nervous because I want this thing to be right.
Okay.
I do find it hard sometimes to balance some of the things I like to do when I was single and the expectations he has going into becoming one unit, as well as how to keep my personal relationship with my children without allowing them to use me to go around him and his thoughts.
Wow.
From listening to the show, I've heard about people doing things that are considered to be completely out of line and being disrespectful to each other.
Okay.
That is not my goal. But how do you balance what you are, okay, versus with what things you're not, okay?
That was a little difficult.
Yeah, it was. I have two children, a son who is 6 and a daughter who is 14.
Okay.
I put rules in place where they have to respect him and the boundaries of our space. They know when he and I go home, we have 30 minutes of uninterrupted time in our bedroom to reconnect for the day.
All right.
They know if we want or if they want something that is unless it is something he and I both already discussed. I'm having a difficult time. We will have to discuss it together before they get an answer. All right? That was wrong. I'm sorry. He complains about time with me and him personally. I tell him that with a family, it has to be all of us. He told me a few days ago that some days he feels like I wanted to be married and a mother, but not a wife.
That man that came deep with y'all.
I asked my pastor during our recent counseling session together what that meant, and he told me to look in the Bible what it says about a husband, wife, children, and family, and the order intended. He then told me to pray and ask God to give me the clarity, because being married does not make you a wife nor husband. Just like giving birth or donating semen does not make you a parent.
Wow.
Okay?
You done got deep.
Yeah. He said that you get married because you want to be husband or wife first, which is commitment to God, that you will become one unit. I recently started studying the Bible on how to be a good wife. And there are so many different areas that so many different areas. How do I know what I'm supposed to do versus what is just advising me on a good option?
Just said advising.
Right. And how, Sinclair, can you advise me on what a man needs to feel honored and respected in his home? Camille, can you give advice on how a woman with children from a previous relationship maintains the boundaries of being a wife above being a mom? Sign blessings to you both, Nicole.
Nicole, you done wrote a whole book. Now you're doing the most.
Yeah.
But let's take this piece by piece. First of all, we're glad that you listened to the show, and that hopefully we can be a sense of somewhat information or balance. But let me start by saying this. You said you said all the great things about your guy. All right, great, wonderful. Then you say y'all 4 months from getting married and you're nervous and you want it to be right. Well, that's a start, okay? Some people don't want it to be right. Some people just want it to be, all right? Now, then you say, hold on, what is she? Ty already talking about, well, if he didn't already have children, he may have trouble balancing his time. Now, look, Ty, let me answer my question first, all right? Then it says, she says, becoming one unit. I was single and the expectations that he has of becoming one unit. All right, that's the first problem. The first problem is, even by virtue of the way you explained it, you said this. You said, I do find it hard sometimes to balance some of the things I like to do when I was single and the expectation he has going into becoming one unit. My first question to you, what's her name? Nicole?
Nicole.
Is why don't you have an expectation of being one unit? See, a lot of times as a counselor, one of the things we tell people is, I let you talk long enough to tell me what you really think. Okay? And when you describe him as being the one who has an expectation of you all becoming a unit, you did not say, we have an expectation. You're talking about some of the things you like to do when you were single. All right? Now, I say this to people all the time. If you can't let go what you were doing when you were single, you're not ready to be married. Okay? It's not a negative on you, but you have to be honest with yourself and somebody else. Because right now, I don't want to blame it on him being a little older, because that may be a factor, but it's not a major factor. The thing right here is, you describe in the first sentence where there may be some difference of opinion that he has expectations of the two of you all operating as one unit, and that's not your expectation at this particular moment. That's a good place for you to start, because you need to know whether or not you're ready for that or not, and what it entails. All right. Then you say, my personal relationship, you said, going into becoming one unit, as well as how to keep my personal relationship with my children without allowing them to use me to go around him and his thoughts. All right. Here's something very simple. All right. You would hope, I'm not going to say you should, because I don't like to use certain broad terms, but you would hope that you have put yourself with someone who has a responsible parenting concept, and that you and he share some like-minded thoughts. All right. If you're already talking about how can you prevent there from being a discrepancy, the only reason why there should be a discrepancy is if you guys are on total opposite spectrums of parenting. Okay? Most of the time it should be fairly simple. So it shouldn't be a war of the roses, if you will, about some parenting tips unless somebody's just way off to the left. All right. Now, let me do this. Let me pause right there because we got to take this first sponsorship break. When we come back, we're going to get back in the game, right? This is the Sinclair Show, WBISLP, Awesome Radio 106.9. We're going to be right back and in the mailbag.
Many women deal with the fear of losing their husband or a child. Welcome to Celebrate Your Marriage with Jay and Laura LaFoon. You're not the only one, yet dwelling on the uncertainty of tomorrow can keep you from living today to the full.
Elizabeth Elliott was a new mom when she lost her first husband. She later lost her second husband to cancer, but she never gave up her belief that she could trust God in everything.
She wrote in 2003, God's ways are mysterious, and our faith develops strong muscles as we negotiate the twists and turns of our lives. Elliott saw every situation as an opportunity to see God's mercy.
Today my assignment, she said, tomorrow's none of my business.
Many who knew Elliott described her life as peaceful despite the hardships she faced. Though some of her life's worst fears materialized, Elliott accepted them with a quiet confidence that she could trust God no matter what. For more ways to celebrate your marriage, go to jayandlaura.com. Hello everyone. We want to invite everybody out to meet John Landrine, the next Greenville City Council member for District 2, on Saturday, August 24th, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the corner of 10th Street and Line Avenue, just down from Bojangles. Campaign donations of any size are more than welcome, even $1. So come on down and get to know John and see why we need to put this man on the City Council for District 2. Also, while you're there, you will want to sign a petition John started for more speed bumps in areas like around the Dream Park, which is long overdue. That's this Saturday, August 24th, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the corner of 10th Street and Line Avenue. Come out and meet the candidate, donate, and get yourself a plate. This ad was paid for by the committee to elect John Landry.
You are listening to Awesome Radio.
You are back on the Sinclair Show, WBISLP, Awesome Radio 106.9, the hottest station in the Carolinas. People, it's prime time. The clock says it is 8:19. I see we got the world renowned. All of a sudden, he's popping out here and trying to showcase it, whatever. And he got the first lady with him. We got Susie Clark. Glad to see you have popped on here with us. And if you just got here, we jumped in the mailbag. We got a letter. Lady says she's about 4 months away from getting married. She said there's some things that she is concerned about. She said she got a good husband. She said she's doing the right things, and she just wants to clear up a few spaces that there are some little pieces, if you will, that are not clicking as she would like them to. So she's asking for some advice. All right, so we started off, and as Camilla read through the letter, one of the key points that struck out first was this sentence. She said, I find it hard sometimes to balance the things that I liked to do when I was single and the expectation he has going into becoming one unit. And so for those that you just joined us, one of the things I told her was it should not be just his expectation of becoming a unit. It should be both of you all's expectation of becoming one unit, because that's what it is described as. All right. Now, that's why you put the little rings on and all that. Diane Keys, glad to have you. Then she goes on to say, as well as keep my personal relationship with my children without allowing them to use me, go around him and his thoughts. First, that's where we stopped at before. Now, here's the thing. Again, parenting does not have to be rocket science. Okay? There has to be a clear concept of what is the parenting methodology in each home. All right? Now, the thing about it is, and I don't want anybody to feel like they're on an island. Look, there's almost in every case, people are going to believe that dad is stricter than mom. And so that's nothing new. You're not doing anything wrong if that's how the operations feel in your home. You can ask 1,000 people, 998 of them are going to say, yeah, that's what they tell me. Great. She said, I've got 2 children, a son 6 and a daughter 14. I've put rules in place where they have to respect him and the boundaries of our space. They know when he and I get home, We have 30 minutes of uninterrupted time to reconnect for the day. Listen, what you say her name was? Nicole. First of all, if that's what you're doing, you've already begun a great process. You said, look, we're allowing 30 minutes when we first come in, and that's our time. All right. So instead of going and sitting down and chit-chatting with them, everybody knows when mom and dad gets home, that's their 30 minutes. Great. Seems like you guys have agreed on that. And you didn't say it's not working, so keep going with that. They know if they want to do something that unless it is something he and I have both already discussed, we will have to discuss it together before they get an answer. Listen, Nicole, seems like you're batting 1,000. Ladies, if you guys are having these problems, what Nicole just told you all makes absolute sense. If there is anything that's being asked and there hasn't already been a commitment of both parties on what's the direction. Now, you don't want to work out the direction in front of the kids. You got to operate like a business. A business has a CEO and a COO. Both of them have valuable roles. When you are planning the employee handbook for your company, you go in private sessions, you work out all the kinks. So if there's some disagreements and all those things, it happens behind the scenes. When you come out, the COO has a guide that they enforce with the company. This is the rules. Okay, so you should already have discussed these things. And here's the hardest thing that happens most of the time with women, but there are men that do the same thing. When you have children and you go into a relationship and you're bringing another person in many cases it's the man, but it can be the opposite. It can be a woman going into that situation as well. Here's the trouble. You always are going to be in protect mode. Let me give you some advice. If you believe that you have to have a fear about the person that you are bringing into the lives of your kids, meaning, do you think he gonna choke them out? Is he beating on them? Does he have a problem, a substance abuse problem? If it's something wrong with him, you don't need to be bringing them in anyway. Right. Does that make sense, people? Now, let me tell you the other part that you're probably not gonna like, but here's the truth. If you believe that this man is of the character that you want him to be your husband, and you've done your due diligence, then you got to let a man be a man. You have to let a father be a father. You have to put yourself in a position where you're not the hindrance to it. Again, before you say I do, make sure that he doesn't have the type of character flaws where you feel like the safety of your children, which is your direct responsibility until you get married, then it becomes both of you all's responsibility. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So if you know it's nothing wrong with his character, if you trust his judgment to be your husband, then you must also trust his judgment to be a father to the kids. Here's the one thing I think that women so often have challenges with. The first line that 100% of women will say at the onset of dating, if they are single mothers, is what type of deal? Somebody out there tell me. Every woman says it's a package deal. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, here's where men scratch their head. If you're having this package deal conversation with your future husband, okay? Did you previously have the package deal conversation with your children? See, most of the time you all don't. You have the conversation that sets the expectation for your husband that this is a package deal, but you define no guidelines for your children, and so they don't have to make that change in their thought process. Now, I don't think it should be a major issue. Again, you shouldn't want to be with somebody that doesn't have your kid's best interests in the first place. Okay? If you're with somebody that you scratching your head and you thinking, I don't really know about him, or I don't really know about her, then before you say I do, you need to hit the pause button. Okay? But if he's good enough for you, you should have a higher standard for him being with you than with your kids. Because you got to spend the rest of your life with him, allegedly. And they're only going to have to be there until they get grown and get to make their own decisions. So you want to make sure you're picking the right person for you, and in return, it should automatically be the right type of person for them. Now, if you skim off the top and go left when you should have went right, and you just picking somebody because you out there and it's pick me a Negro day, then you get what you got. But if you're doing your due diligence just like you would in hiring an employee, you're going to know whether or not this individual has the type of things that would make him a good father or leader in your home. Does that make sense? So let's squash that and say you make the rules with your husband in concert with each other in private, and you enforce those rules. Don't go out the door, and as soon as you get out there and he gets in the old car, you be like, look, I know this is what the rules is. Don't worry about it. I'm going to cut some corners today, but y'all just keep it on the low, all right? Because that's going to cause problems, all right? The moment that you allow them to believe that there is a disconnect between the two of you all, they going to run it. And it ain't the kids' fault. Kids do exactly what they supposed to do. They supposed to try you. They supposed to try to infiltrate the system, just like prisoners trying to escape. Brooke be telling me, I feel like I'm a prisoner. Prisoners try to escape, all right? You're supposed to parent. Parent isn't easy. You're not going to always agree, but you have to have a point by which you collectively say, I'm going to let you win this one. But he or she who wins that argument on that issue, you are responsible for the consequence of the decision you give out. Is that fair? All right, cool. So let's move it all along. Then you say he complains about time with me and him personally. I tell him we're a family and it has to be all of us. He told me a few days ago he feels like I want to be married and a mother but not a wife. She didn't know what that meant. She went to the pastor told her prayer about it, read about it. Let me tell you what that means. That means when he says you want to be a wife, no, you want to be married and a mother but not a wife, that means he believes you want the benefits that come with being married, the security, the companionship, and all that, but you don't want the responsibilities because there is two different levels of responsibility. Most women ain't gonna never slip on the motherly stuff because that comes natural, okay? But you have to think to yourself, if you're not dedicating specific energy to your husband, the same way you're dedicating more specific energy to your kids, then you tell me, how does that work? It is a difficult task. All right, look, we got to take a sponsorship break. We're going to come back, finish this up, and get back in the mailbag. This is the Sinclair Show, WBISLP, Awesome Radio 106.9, the hottest station in the Carolinas. We coming right back, folks. Hold on.
Roger's co-worker asked him why he never came out with them for a drink. Can he legally explain his Christian beliefs to a co-worker at work?
You ready to, you got something you going to answer him? You ain't gonna mess with it? All right.
Assuming Roger is not sure.
Vanessa Jones, what's going on? Glad to see you up here.
The answer is absolutely yes. Roger has every right to discuss his religious beliefs with a willing co-worker. If your employer has more than 15 employees and allows co-workers to engage,
The Word Renowned said there's a family healing service tomorrow night at Sand Hill Free Will Baptist Church, 7:30. No charge to all families with any issues.
they have to allow you the right to discuss your religious beliefs if they allow these other discussions. However, it's important to understand that your right to discuss your beliefs only extends to a coworker who is willing to listen. Should a coworker request that you stop, you must honor that request. You have every right in America to discuss your beliefs at work, but be sure it's with a willing coworker.
If you've got a legal question, why not connect with us online at christianlaw.org. You'll find legal brochures, case updates, our e-alert newsletter, all at christianlaw.org.
Keep on listening to Awesome Radio 106.9 WBISLP.
You are back on the Sinclair Show, WBISLP, Awesome Radio 106.9, the hottest station in the Carolinas. Prime time, people. The clock says that it's something time, 8:30, I believe. check this out. All right, so we got to wrap this up because we got some other stuff to jump into. Here's the last thing. Nicole, this is what I want you to do. I want you to hit me up, give me your contact information, because I want to be able to talk to you about some things and give you some areas that you can go to research some things for yourself that'll help you off along the way. I believe you're on the right track, okay? But you do have to consider, when you start talking about, are you being a wife? Are you being a mother? Those things are not mutually exclusive. Okay, but you cannot expect that somebody is going to become your husband and accept these responsibilities only to become second nature in his own home, because you know why? Because he's looking for a wife and a companion, and you can't exclude that because you're doing a lot to maintain what you do well in the first place, which is be a mother. Again, most of you all don't even have to search how to be a good mom. All right. So just keep that in mind. One thing you don't really have to work a lot for because you're naturally good at it. You may not be naturally good at being a wife because that's not something you were given and born with, and you didn't carry him around for 9 months. So you got to work toward things that you might be a weaker area. Don't let it get you down. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep it moving. Camille, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Sinclair Show.
That is here.
Good evening.
All right.
I want to ask your opinion about the young black man in Texas who the principal called him to the office and told him because he had a haircut with designs in his head, he had two choices: either to go to ISS, which is in-school suspension, or allow them to use a permanent black marker to color the designs on his head. Wow. Because the young man did not want to go to ISS, he allowed them to paint his head with the marker.
Dummy.
Sinclair and Camille, how would you all have handled it if it was one of your daughters?
Okay.
Also, they are suing the school district. Do you think this is just about getting paid? Here is the link to the article. They've added that, and this is signed by Russell.
All right, Russell. Glad that you're listening to the show. I had heard about this, but I don't know the full depth. Yeah. But we will look it up. But let me say this: just going off what you told me, because we can make this a quick. Okay. Russell, look, parents, look at the guidelines for the school district. Some of them are very, very strict. Okay, some of them aren't fair at all. But if they in writing, then don't go bucking the system. Go talk to the Board of Education before you send your son and daughter out there. If they got dress codes, what they not supposed to wear, what they not supposed to show, and all this. Many of you say it's unfair, but let me tell you what I always hear parents saying. I want my child to go to the best schools. I want them to go to the best school districts. I want them to get the best education. You know why some of these schools are rated higher than others? Because they have policies that are designed to prepare your sons and daughters for the next level. Now, let me be fair to this young man. If all we're talking about is unless it was some type of obscene part in his head, you're not finna go and put your hands in my child's hair. Absolutely. And put no permanent marker in there, and they ain't got to go to ISS because that's not a violation of any major rule. And if you got that kind of rule, you need to blow it up and put it on the outside of the building so that parents know that, hey, look, we got to go have a conversation.
That's right.
You personally ain't putting no magic marker in my child's head. Okay, you can call me and I can come pick them up, and then I can check the policies, and then we can adjust according to the policies until we can change the policies. But you don't get the right to go get no permanent marker.
Put on nothing.
Right. So that's my answer to that. All right, cool. So we're gonna look it up. We're gonna see what the outcome of that is, and we'll bring it to y'all later. All right. But follow the policies. Know the policies.
Correct.
Make sure you in line before you go check somebody else. Keep it moving.
All right, but still no markers. All right, dear Sinclair Show.
Yes.
I and my wife watch y'all show every night that you are on.
Okay.
We had a debate about the couple with issues about how long it takes him to get home and who he talks to.
Who's he talking to?
I believe that if you are not doing something nefarious, then there is no reason why adults of the opposite sex can not have reasonable communication.
All right.
My wife insists that this is only an opening the door of a violation of the marriage when a married man or woman who has frequent conversations with someone of the opposite sex.
Okay.
I then told her, as many gay folks as it is out here, it could be a woman talking to another woman a lot and they have something going on. So what does the sex gender have to do with it?
Okay, he pleading his case.
Yeah, he is. Her position is, why would you have to wait until you leave the home or at work or take alternative routes to get home to converse with someone? If it's nothing to it, why wouldn't you have that open conversation in the home when you're with your wife or spouse right there? Also, if you are talking about your problems to someone single or married, ain't that giving that person just what they need to appeal to your emotions?
All right.
I told her, when do grown people become prisoners, and marriage
What's with the prisoner thing, people?
I don't know. And marriage without trust is an issue. Not the person who they are talking to. Her response was, people don't trust folks who sneak or have a pattern of behavior of doing things untrustworthy. If a woman marries a man who is a known cheater, or this is his type of behavior to talk to others on the side, then wind up sleeping with them, how are they not connected?
Wow.
The trust issue becomes, what do you, the things when you are not around your wife that you won't do or say when you're sitting beside. So there is something crooked going on.
Crooked.
Plus, if you need to go outside of your spouse to talk to someone, make sure it is a paid therapist who is going to give you true advice about yourself, not someone trying to get what your wife has. Sinclair, what is your view on people talking to folks if there is nothing going on? Why do people assume that you must be sleeping around if you talk to friends? Signed, the Weddles.
All right, Weddles, check this out. First of all, if y'all, what they're responding to is a letter that was read on Tuesday night. Let me say this. You brought in some facts not in evidence, because it really wasn't about how long it take them to get home. That was one aspect of it, okay? So you done built your case around some facts not necessarily in evidence, all right? So, but let me go by saying this, all right? One, you're asking my opinion. My opinion is this. When you start saying that it shouldn't be anything wrong with it, anything that is nothing wrong with, you ain't got the sneak to do it, okay? If you're cool with somebody, then you should be able to talk on the speakerphone if you want to. The issues that bring the curiosity of concept is that if you are talking about every time you can talk to this person, it has to be in a clandestine manner, then yes, there's some trickery going on. Doesn't matter if you want to agree to it, because something about the way you feel about the ability to have that conversation, or the tone of the conversation, says I can't do it in front of my significant other. Okay, that's the issue. To some degree, you're right. If it's just grown people having a conversation, what should be the problem with it? Well, I talk to a lot of people that I don't have to go under the bridge in order to chit chat with them. Okay, and that's the truth. So I think when you start talking, now here's the other piece. This person says that people don't trust folks who sneak around, have a pattern of it. You know all of this before you get with them. Okay. So let me say this, and men, we get caught up on this an awful lot. And I'm not saying women are excluded, but I do know men get caught up on this many times more than women. If you know you have had a pattern of doing something in the past, men, but women could be there, you have to work harder to eliminate the same mannerisms that you had before. Okay? If your wife is saying, hey, you know what, dude, why is all of a sudden you didn't change your pattern? If you ask 90% of the women, they're going to say the reason why they caught their husband up in some foolery is because he switched patterns on them. And they got the spidey sense or whatever they call it. Okay? So I'm saying to you, don't act like she shouldn't feel some kind of way if you've been caught up before. You're asking somebody to trust you when you've already asked them to re-trust you. Okay, so it's not about the conversations. Grown folk can talk to whoever they want to, but if you do it in an open manner, then everybody knows it's above board. If you gotta wait till you in the darkness of the cover of night, then that means that you know something is wrong with it, and that's why you went down that path. We gotta take a sponsorship break. This is the Sinclair Show, WBISLP, Awesome Radio. We're gonna be right back.
Hi everyone, this is John concerns you have for our district.
There's only one more after this?
Fundraiser is
All
on
right.
August 24th.
So I can wrap this one up when we come back and then we go there.
That's Saturday, August 24th.
James Key, what's up, man?
It's on the corner of 10th Street and Line Avenue. Now that's just off Memorial and 10th Street, which used to be Farmer Road. Listen, donations of any size are welcome, even $1. So come on out. There'll be some food, meet other supporters in the district, and sign the petition that I've started to get more speed bumps. I'm looking forward to meeting you on Saturday, August 24th from 1 to 5 p.m.
Remind me to look this up.
10th Street and Line Avenue. Come on out, meet the candidate, donate.
Remind me to
yourself a plate.
look that up because I need to see what he had in his head.
Attention Android device users. Awesome Radio.
Tammy Green King, glad to see you.
Your Android mobile devices. We're in the Google Play Store. Type in Awesome Radio, one word, space WBIS-LP. Download us and take us everywhere you go. And there's another way for your most convenience. Visit our website at WBISAwesomeRadio.org. Click on Download Us Now. It will take you directly to our space in the Google Play Store. We're Awesome Radio, and we are still growing. Grow with us. Thank you for listening.
You are back on the Sinclair Show, WBISLP, Awesome Radio 106.9, the hottest station in the Carolinas. People, we are down to the last 15 minutes, 8:41. Let's roll with it. When we left, we were finishing up on a letter. Letters talking about in response to something that came in on last Tuesday. The man and wife said, hey, we got some differences of opinion in our house. He thinks he ought to be able to talk to folks on the low, on the side, in the car, in the cut, when they get to work and whatever. She says, hold on. If it ain't nothing to it, you should be able to talk to them folks around me. She's right, all right? You got to understand, and I'm not saying that you have to understand what your trust level is in your relationship, okay? If you have a brand new relationship and there's never been any violation, then why not sit down and talk to your spouse and say, hey, look, I got some people that I'm cool with. You may not have ever met them and whatever, but I like to, we like to bounce ideas off each other, brainstorming or whatever. So if you come in the house and you see me on the phone or whatever, and I'm talking to somebody, in this case, it may be another woman or whatever. Hey, I'm not doing nothing and I don't have no problem talking around you. Get that feedback. Most of the time a person is going to say, well, if you're bringing it to me like that and you're talking around me, hey, maybe sometimes you do have to have a conversation. Maybe somebody that's extra smart or whatever. The problem is most of us in our lifetimes have gone through some things in relationships at one point or another. And there are trust issues by default. I don't care how old you get. You can be 99 years old and you have been through some things. You're going to have some trust issues. And people, believe me when I tell you, it is nothing that jumpstarts it more than the opposite sex and your interaction with them, male or female. All right. Now, it says the last thing I wanted to get with them about is they said, hey, if you need to go outside of your spouse to talk to someone, make sure it's a paid therapist. Hey, I can't disagree. As a counselor, you should go see some of us who are paid to do that type of thing. I'm great concept. But let's talk about the other side of it. People, how you gonna go to another person of the opposite sex to talk to them about your spouse? Guys, if you're going to talk to another woman about your wife, you think she's going to give you some grand advice to get you closer together? Or is she going to absorb that information long enough to know when you tell her what all your flaws and what the things that hurt you the most? And they're going to say, well, you know what? You deserve that. Because that's what people do. Same thing with women. You call up a dude and he's telling you all these wonderful things and you're just a great person and all this. You know what he's doing? He's listening or she's listening for that intel. That's what it is. Okay? So when you really want some advice about how to fix something, if you need advice about your sink leaking, you're not going to your OBGYN to get it done. You're going to call a plumber because that's a specialist in that area. Okay? That chick on the side is not a relationship specialist. She may be a specialist in breaking up relationships. Okay? That dude on the side, yeah, he's got all the advice in the world. Why he's single. Okay? You got to ask yourself. There's a logic to this, people. And y'all been in the game long enough to know. Don't mess around and lose what you got chasing something else to find out. Because I promise you this, people. And we got to go to the next letter. This is a line I like to say all the time. Been saying it for years. If you going to risk what you got at home, you better make sure it's somebody willing to bag the U-Haul up to the house and come get you. Okay? Let's go to the next one.
Dear Sinclair,
What it do?
your show is very moving because you address real issues, and I thank you.
Thank you.
I would like your advice and perhaps to set up an appointment for counseling.
Always willing.
In 2011, I married a man who I had been dating for 14 months.
Okay.
I had one child, a daughter, who is 10, and he has 5 boys,
5 boys.
ranging from 13 to 26. There are 4 of our children who still living at home, although all of them are all around all the time, okay? I consider us to be a regular family, but I have been struggling to deal with something that has been on my mind for the past month.
Hold on for a second. If you got 6 kids in your house, you ain't regular.
Okay.
Go ahead.
While 3 of the boys were sitting on the patio just talking, I was in the living room and it was nice outside that day, so the windows were up.
Okay.
They were doing like most young men, I guess, picking at each other and talking about whatever. I at some point heard one of them talking talking about how his dad was the man.
The man.
And has been running mad game. He was talking about how mad game. He was talking about how his dad took him with him to some woman's house and she was fine.
Wow.
And that she was all over him. The other son was like, dad is a player. The other one recounted hearing his dad in the car as they were driving talking to another woman who was telling him how he should have chosen her over me. And that he replied, well, you never know how life is going to bring.
Come on, fellas. Y'all got to be better than that.
Right. They were bragging about the pictures of these women in his phone and the text messages. And then one stated, Dad keeps the garden tools on lock.
Wow. Bruh, what y'all doing?
I was so angry, but I couldn't say anything. Not just to know that he is out there like that, but how comfortable he is allowing his sons to hear him talking with other women. How he is comfortable allowing them in his phone to read the conversations and things they say to each other. How just 2 weeks ago we were at a restaurant and my phone went dead. And I asked him to use his and he was so extra and did not want me to hold it outside his presence. But he is comfortable allowing them to have the code and surf through his messages and pictures.
Wow.
Sinclair, how do I handle this? Because I wasn't snooping when I heard it. But I know he's going to say that I was. I was wondering why it seemed like the boys don't respect me. And I guess this is the answer to my questions. Because they see me as another garden tool on Dad's list.
Wow.
And there are others in waiting, okay?
Okay.
I'm here trying to be the mother to them, trying to provide a good environment for them. I make sure they eat and have clean clothes, and when they need something, they come to me. All while their biological mother is out there strung out on heroin, sleeping with men for money.
Whoa.
Sinclair, how do I handle this? I have a job and my own money, had it before him. I can take care of me and my daughter, and we will be better off financially if it was just the 2 of us. He benefits far more than I do with him, responsible for 3 boys. I want to confront him about what they said, but how do I go about doing it? Thanks for any advice you give, and please give me your contact numbers as I think I need offline help. Signed, Sarah.
Well, Sarah, first of all, we're appreciative that you listen to the show. Now, let me tell you something, Sarah. You have a quandary on your hands. First of all, you got 6. You're in a family of 6. Okay, at least 4 of y'all is in the same house and this and that. All right. Now, here's the danger of what you're dealing with. One, you heard some young men shooting the breeze about their father. Okay. Now, men, let me start off by saying this. You know how many times this story has played it out in some form or fashion. You are bold as, let me say it in a good manner. You real bold to take your sons over another female house.
Right.
Okay? You real bold on that. First of all, you disrespectful as all outdoors. Okay? And I'm going to say this to, what's her name, Sarah? Sarah, you can confront him immediately. You ain't got to hold tight on nothing. He opened that door when he took them over there and got them around these women, and they sitting around there bragging. Because let me tell you what the honesty of a child is. Most of them ain't got no filter. Okay?
True.
So you invite that when you bring them into this space, and you disrespectful as all. Man, I wish I could just talk like I want to. If we was on the block, y'all know what I'd be saying. All right? So Sarah, I don't want you to think you got to tiptoe around it at all. Okay? They should have shut up out there. They shouldn't have had the access to the information because he shouldn't have been doing it. But if you was going to do it, you should have had enough respect for yourself and your wife not to just be out there doing it just out in the public.
Right.
Okay? Now, then talking about, listen, men, when this is what your sons think about you, dad is the man and he be running mad game. Not playing Madden on games, running mad game. And then the other one said the woman with that house he took him over was fine. Okay? And then somebody says, you know dad is a what? Player. All right? Now, let me tell you, Sarah, you're absolutely right. It is impossible for those young men to have any respect for you because they know dad ain't got no respect for you. Okay? Let's call it what it is. When you're comfortable enough to let your kids be in that kind of space, how do they go back to the house and act like they're going to be a yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir type of child when they know you could care less because you've overly exposed them to the foolishness in your own life?
Right.
And where do we start cheapening our own standards? Okay? Back in the day, you didn't grow up knowing all of your parents' business.
Right.
You ain't gonna never catch your dad rolling you over to no female's house and then thinking you gonna go home where mama at and it's gonna be all good. And see, this that problem with that with the step parent type thing. They already got a bridge in the first place, and the moment that you show that you don't care, why would they? What's she gonna tell your sons about getting up and cleaning up and doing anything? And they looking at her like, chick, you on borrowed time anyway. Yeah. Okay? You done let these boys hear you having a conversation with somebody and you done told a lady, well, you never know what might happen. So that's telling anybody in earshot, you already got one foot out the door. So them coming home, taking out some trash and doing all that, they can care less about that. Who you talking to? You don't have respect, they ain't got respect. They start talking about letting them, they were bragging about pictures in the phone and text messages. Let me tell y'all something. You think it's cute. You think you got that powerful a relationship with your child that you don't mind them sifting through your stuff. You know you're dirty. You dirty as tomorrow. But you don't have no problem with them seeing it because it's a badge of honor for you. Oh yeah, dad got mad game. But see, here's the thing about it. While he or the kids are talking about those other women as garden tools, it will not be long before those kids and even your own start to see you that way. See, because kids grow up. And here's what they remember. They remember all that cool stuff until they get at an age that they start going through some things on their own. And then they start saying to themselves, you know what? That lady that dad was married to, the one that, as she said, was doing clothes and cooking and all that, dad did her dirty. It comes back to you.
Right.
When did we get so comfortable? I grew up in an era, your kids ain't in your stuff no way.
Right.
What you getting in it for? But now you got information that degrades and devalues both your marriage and your wife. And you got it tinkering around in your phone. And you just letting them get to it. Mm-hmm. So let me say this to you. In that piece, Sarah, you confront them straight up with it. You look that man dead in the eye. You tell him what you know. He's going to lie. Everybody to get caught lies. No, they're lying about it. No, it's not that. He's going to lie. You have to make your mind up before you have that conversation. What are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable taking your daughter and going on about your business? Okay? I'm not saying that you have to. Divorce is not mandatory. You know what your shoulders can take. You know how broad and strong your back is. But when you got little kids sitting around laughing at you because daddy ain't got no respect for you, or mama ain't got no respect for you, when you got people sitting around looking at the bargaining tool, some of y'all parents out there being blackmailed by your own kids because you done let them know you ain't about 2 cents. Sarah, you don't take it. Okay? This is what you do. Stop cooking for them. Not just the kids, stop cooking for everybody but you and your daughter. You go into isolation mode for a while. You got to make a determination. What is your value in your own home? They used to have a song say, I can do bad by myself. I don't need no help to starve to death.
That's right.
And you sit down with them boys and you let them know what you heard them saying. And you say to them straight up, look, as long as you are here and I'm here, I expect a certain level of respect. So whatever you know that your dad is out there doing, don't talk about it around me. And it ain't nothing for you to be proud about. Because one day you're going to have a son. Look, people, I got to go. Because y'all done got my blood pressure up. I'm ready to brawl. We're going to see y'all next Tuesday. This is the Sinclair Show, WBISLP, Awesome Radio 106.9. People, we out. Hold it down. Sarah, look, what I need you to do is hit me up. You got the email address. We'll give you the contact information, and we'll set up a time for you to come through so we can help you out with this. It doesn't have to be the end of the road, but you do have to make some decisions about what level of respect you want in your life. All right? So hit us up. We'll hit you back. All right? Y'all have a good night. Be safe out there. Peace out.